The Art of Relationships radio show is copyrighted. No one is to use, in part or full, any portion of the show without express written consent from myself, Greg Dazinski, or The Art of Relationships. Thank you.
Licensed relationship and sex counselor Greg Dazinski, also known as Master G, The Art of Relationships will cover crucial elements in rebuilding emotional and physical intimacy in your romantic relationships. He will also welcome live calls from listeners and help him with these very challenges. Heard of the old repetitive and tiresome tit-for-tat arguments? Greg gets to the root of couples' challenges in a quick, matter-of-fact format, plus applies compassion and humor. Join in discovering how to improve your romantic relationship and your own life. Listen, laugh, and climax to a happier you. Greg is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan, but to some of us, he is simply known as Master G.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Greg Dazinski, licensed professional counselor and relationship and sex specialist. And this is, of course, the Art of Relationships radio show. I'm going to give you the call-in number. It's a new call-in number, started Sunday night. It's a little bit of a pain. But, well, just a few extra digits than normal, okay? But it's going to be a lot smoother, can engage a lot more people on air. So, here it is. 712-775-7035, and then you enter 575099, the pound sign, okay? 712-775-7035, then 575099, the pound. Okay? Write that down, engrave it, get it tattooed on your booty. Then you might not be able to see it. Okay? Tonight, we're gonna sort of juice it up a little bit. And if everybody heard the news that just got released from the UK, Great Britain, and the British Journal of Sexuality and medical journals as well. I want to give props to them. We're going to talk about penis size. And today in Human Sexuality, I asked about topics for tonight's show. And we talked about sexual behaviors, penis size, and talked about trying to tie in sexual behaviors and boredom together, okay? You can join me on live chat, of course, as always, if you're using the Art of Relationships radio shows app for Apple or Android devices. You can also go to Spreaker.com/user/Greg, Greg, and then Dazinski, DUDZINSKI. You can listen to the show that way as well. And hopefully links on Facebook will help. And you can, join me on live chat. And like I said, I'll give the number out one more time, and I'll give it out later on in the show as well. I'd love to hear from you. And I want to hear from the ladies out there. Or I want to hear from the guys out there, too. If there was a complaint that maybe they were too small or didn't measure up. And I'm going to sort of get rid of some myths out there around, or circumventing, nice choice of words, around penis size out there, okay? Made me feel better, pumped up my ego after hearing this. And we're talking about this in class earlier today. So write the phone number down, please. Keep it handy. 712-775-7035. And then you enter 575099, the pound sign. And that'll get you right into, it's a conference call setup, but I have a lot greater control over that and can take a lot more callers at the same time, and a lot easier if I put you on hold and everything. Not that I want to do that, but it's just going to be a lot easier, a lot more smoother, and a lot more respectful for the callers calling in, and that's you. Because, of course, that's what the show's all about, right? how's everybody doing out there on this hump night? Hopefully everybody is getting freaky, or maybe, what if you're not in a relationship? Can you get freaky with yourself? And I talked about that, right? The ménage de moi, meaning self-gratification, masturbating. Okay, getting on. I'm going to kick it off with penis size. Again, the United Kingdom, the British Journal of Sexuality, and in concert, I should say, with the British Medical Journal, they did a study of penis size. Now, who the hell would want this study? Condom manufacturers, to throw out the myths out there. And who would pay for this study, right? Maybe to help guys out there and ego boosts and confidence boosters out there. But they did multicultural, which means they did Jewish, Great Britain, American, African, German, Asian, all over. A ton of cultures. And I can't remember. I think there was, don't quote me on this, I think there was close to 75 to 100 different cultures. And this was the first time a study like this. They did not ask people, or guys I should say, to measure their cock, their penis, right? They did not ask. They measured it themselves. They did it flaccid, which means limp, right? Everybody knows that. They did it stretched out limp. Oh my God, be like a slinky, right? And then they did it erect, right? So I don't know if the guys, they're measuring them, if they got played with ahead of time, or, you know what, looking at porn, or maybe they had some hot-looking women to arouse them, to get them erect. But anyways, whatever they use to get them erect, okay? The average length is, believe it or not, 5.1 inches. Just over 5 inches. And now you heard me say numerous, months and months ago, the average penis was between 4.5 inches erect to 6 inches. So this is right in that ballpark. So average erect length is 5.1 inches. So guys out there, they're telling you they're 10 inches, right? Either they don't know how to measure, or they're measuring from their anus, from their asshole. And that doesn't count, right? You don't measure from there. You measure from where it meets the body, right? And you don't get into measuring from your anus. That don't count. That's cheating, right? So there's a class discussion, and this goes out. I mean, this is an age-old conversation about, does penis size matter? So now you know the average. Doesn't matter culture and all that. Yeah, there's some smaller, some bigger, but the average is 5.1 inches. Okay, so you're hard. You give her all your 5 inches, right? Now, talking to ladies, and the big thing, can a penis be too big? Yes, you hear women out there. Yeah, they can be too big. And I also, once in a great while, I get a woman that I hear, it could be a student, client, whatever. Greg, there ain't no penis too big for me. And they sit there and laugh and joke around. It's like, holy shit, you need a cavity crotch or something. But you look at the situation, and, you know, can they be too small? And I've heard, yes, they can be. So it freaks us guys out, and we're always about trying to measure up, right? You talk about the penis ego and being shy if we measure up, if we're big enough. But most women, you know, they're fine. They're okay with an average size penis, right? No big deal. Okay, we'll get into, you know, a micro penis and all that, and can you make up for it? And it's a sad, you know, sort of a situation when there is somewhat, you know, of the micro penis, okay? So you look at that situation. We'll get into that a little bit later. But sticking with the average, the average length of an erect penis is most women said they are fine with that. They're totally fine with that. They're not looking for a huge, gigantic, mammoth, horse-sized cock, okay? They want the average size, which is cool, okay? So, in most women, it's how you use it, right? Everybody's heard this, so that's no secret. And guys, I'm going to tell you, that is crucial. It's important. So, if you know how to use it, you're going to be fine. And this is what you have to look at. You need to think that, the woman, you need to hit the right spots in the vaginal area. And depending what positions, if you're using doggy, woman on top, reverse cowgirl, all these different positions that everyone says there's hundreds of them. And I'm going to get into those in a bit. Everybody looks at Kama Sutra pictures and, oh my God, I want to try this. I want to try this. There's, oh my God, thousands of positions. And I'm going to debunk the myth about those positions in a little bit later on, right? So, the motion to your cock is important for women, right? Can you hit the certain pleasure zones with your cock by the angle and everything else? Not necessarily, the size. Again, the average size, a little under, a little over, fine. Most women are very, very happy with those. And how you use it is important. Do you tease a little bit before you put it all the way in? Do you just sort of tease the lips a little bit with the penis? Ooh, right? How many ladies like to be teased? Then you get driven nuts, right? You go crazy. And it's like, God damn it, just give it to me. Just stick it in. And oh, no, not yet. I'm going to make you beg for it a little more. How many women out there love that? Or right? You can get teased too much, right? Now, the average issue is, is there a substitute? Say there is a gentleman that has a micro penis that has on a smaller size that could be, erect. It's 3 inches, maybe a little bit under. It's sad. It's a sad situation. How many women out there would be okay with that as long as he made up for it in different areas? And this is, I would love to hear from the women out there on chat, or also to give me a call too, right? 712-775-7035, and then please enter 575099, the pound sign, and you're going to be connected right to me, okay? So I'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy out there. And getting back, with the micro penises out there that might be on the very small side or smaller side, can you make up for it, right? What about the man's tongue? What about fingers? Or would a toy do the trick to make up for it? I want to hear from women out there, and I don't want you to be shy, right? Good luck, right? About, is there a substitute for a hard cock inside you? Inside your vagina? Inside your mouth, maybe? And some of those love it anal style, right? And you look at, is there a substitute for the real thing? I hear a lot of women keep saying, you know what? There is no substitute for the real thing. Greg, you know what? I love aura. I love even, hands, fingers. But you know what? There's nothing like the real thing. So can you, for those gentlemen out there, with the micro penises, there are, implants, and there are a lot of constructive or reconstructive surgery that can go, but you're also dealing with a lot of nerve issues and everything, and they don't have that perfected. So there's a lot of issues. But I want to know, lady, could you love a man that has a micro or a smaller penis out there, right? And a lot of gentlemen out there that are in this situation, let's face it, it hits the ego, and they try to make it up in other situations, which is fine with the tongue, mouth, fingers, toys, whatever. And ladies, would you be okay with that? Would you like that? And I've heard ladies, both extremes, most ladies, be honest, say, you know what, Greg, I wouldn't want to deal with that. I want something that's at least average. And some women out there said, you know what, that would be fine. Even last semester I heard, you know what, I'd be fine with it as long as he can make it up with his tongue. That'd be okay, right? Not only with penis size, the biggest issue, with the male ego next to penis size is being able to get it up. The erectile problems. Oh my God, is the male ego, goes into it that, you know what? I'm not big enough. Okay, one thing. And I'm not good enough, right? And oh my God, all this nervous. And if I can't get it up, oh my God, she's going to be turned off. She's going to think I'm no good. I'm not man enough. And these attack the male ego. So that's why I want to talk about, and we talked about in class size earlier today too, that, about the penis size and the average 5.1 inches. So a lot of guys, go out there, feel safe, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't try to, tape it or super glue it or wrap it around a door handle and trying to stretch it out to make it bigger. I don't want you to hurt yourself, okay? But be okay that most women, they're fine with the average. It's how you use it. And every woman wants you to use it maybe in a different way. Are you hitting the G-spot with it? Are you riding higher? Do you ride lower so you have the angle hitting more up at the G-spot? Or riding down if you're doing doggy style? And everyone's trying to, I wish I had a diagram and I did video right now, show you diagrams. But ladies, I think you know out there what I mean, and I'm hopefully, some men might know what I mean too. But this is where I want you to get dialed in with each other, not be afraid to discuss this and what areas you want to be hit. Maybe you don't know, but at least try, experiment, right? And even, it was sad, a new couple, young couple I saw last night, sex was like, for her. They were both each other's first. And you look at the situation, what would it take for you to be maybe a little more confident and a little more boisterous and communicative with your needs and what you like and what you don't like? And I've already talked about this numerous shows ago about your sexual maturity and being able to be mature enough and safe enough, not only with your partner, but more importantly, safe enough with yourself to say, you know what, I like this, I want to try this, and there's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't make me a slut or a whore. And I always said this, right? I'm all for sluts and whores as long as you're only a slut and a whore and a nympho with me, nobody else, right? Okay, so going into angles of maybe penetration, how you hit different angles with your average size penis, but, try it. Different angles, different, ride high or, like I said, lower. Angle it a little bit different than normal and see if it's pleasurable. Sometimes it might be painful, so, I want her to tell you and be honest and be clued into that, okay? So talk, communicate, and not only angles, that is going to lead up to, what about sexual behaviors? Are they over the top anymore? Are they? I don't know. So we're going to talk about sexual behaviors and tie them in with sexual behaviors and boredom, okay? Thank you for listening. I'm going to take a breather, take a short break. This is the Art of Relationships radio show, and I will be back in a couple minutes. Thank you so much. If you're looking for that unique, cool fashion statement, check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. She has hand-painted, hand-designed canvas shoes for you, your loved one, It's an inspirational piece unique to your own taste. Check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Again, that's Shoes by Shay on Facebook.
Waking up, kissing the floor of a bathroom stall. This isn't any way to live, no, not at all. And every one of these kids is so original. White suit, black tie with chucks, and I can barely pull off a standard tux. But why would I need to worry about it when I do it all again every night? As someone else, crashing parties, raising hell. Maybe I should get some help. Start to call myself the great pretender before they tell me, why remember when we used to stand for something more than this? I always think it's happy ever after until it's a complete disaster, until another name is falling from your lips. Oh, when did I become so cynical? When did you become so lyrical? If only the ice beneath my ribs would crack. Red smile, black eye, I'm stuck, I guess. I didn't know bad luck could wear a dress. I meant I hate you when I said wish you the best. But I'm a whore, I guess they mentioned that I'll strip down for your attention, and you'll be stuck here in suspension. I start to call myself the great pretender before they tell me, why remember when you used to stand for something more than this? I always think it's happy ever after until it's a complete disaster, until another name is falling from your lips. So give me a sign now that this is alright now. It's all black and white now, but I just want it right now. So give me a sign now that I'm still alive now. I start to call myself the great pretender before they tell me, why remember when you used to stand for something more than this? I always think it's happy ever after until it's a complete disaster, until another name is falling from your lips. Start to call myself the great pretender before they tell me, why remember when you used to stand for something more than this? I always think it's happy ever after until it's a complete disaster, until another name is falling from your lips.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about a little bit of dead air. This is the Art of Relationships radio show, and this is Greg Dazinski, your host, licensed professional counselor and relationship and sex specialist. Ooh, now, if I only took my own advice. Okay, welcome back, people. Talking about the situation, of course, with sexual behaviors and getting into those in Boredom. I did the first part of the show on the penis size and everything else and trying to tie that in at different angles and everything. Again, the average size, guys, breathe, right? Feel a lot more relaxed. The average size erect penis is 5.1 inches. And like I said at the beginning of the show, guys, don't lie out there and stop measuring from your asshole. Got it? The penis, there is muscles that go there, but that's not how you measure it. Okay? So, sexual behaviors. What about sexual behaviors? What do you love trying to do with this average size penis, right? If you're in a heterosexual relationship, and, you know, what do you like? Do you get into, or have you tried, you know, we talked about fetishes earlier today in class, you know, fetishes, and what is, you know, fetishes, you know, could be cross-dressing, could be, you know, you have to have sex, or the only way you have sex is wearing high heels, and that's the only way you get off. Maybe that's you have to wear the opposite gender's clothes to be able to feel alive enough to get off. Or perhaps maybe you're in a bondage dominatrix, right? Ooh. The old 50 Shades of Greg. Oh, no, that's 50 Shades of Grey. But you look at the bondage, you look at the dominatrix, and were you interested in those? And believe it or not, a lot of couples use somewhat of mild bondage, right? What about, you think about, people look at, bondage and dominatrix. They look at, oh my God, that's not for me. There's no way. Have you ever been tied up? Ooh. Have you ever been restrained? Handcuffs, right? The fuzzy pink little ones, right? What about getting tied up with a tie, ladies? Having your legs just tied to the bedpost and your arms tied up. What about guys? Guys, would you feel safe enough to do that? And just hope she don't cut your nuts off, right? It takes a lot of trust. And to be able to feel relaxed and sort of let the adrenaline pump up through your body, right? And to have that extra arousal phase. And then, are you able to do that? Could you possibly be into that? Would you want to incorporate that into your sexual repertoire? And you look at a lot of adult, situations are across the spectrum. A lot of people are in, like I just talked about, bondage, domination, even mildly, could be a little spanking on the butt, right? To sort of heighten the sensory, the touch sensory aspects in the skin, that it heightens it. It sort of has a little maybe nastiness to it on top of heighten the sensory organ of the skin. Well, the skin is a sensory organ, you know what I mean. But it heightens it. It almost makes the nerve endings stand on end. So a little tap. Some people like it harder, softer. So you look at, believe it or not, this is part of, a little bit of bondage, a little bit of dominatrix, maybe on the mild side, right? And how many ladies, right, talking about, a little pain, not only spanking, they want those freaking nipple clamps, right? They want the nipple clamps. How many want to try those and use those as part of your sexual behavior, right? Maybe doing stuff in different rooms, right? Nipple clamps, like, oh, God, I love them I love them, right? Nipple clamps, those are hot. However, guys, ladies, if you're going to try them, you never have, make sure you are erect, right? Ladies, you know what I mean. You got hard nipples. Your nipples are erect. Not talking about the erect penis, but you need to be erect to try those things. Oh, my God, we got someone on chat that says, I trust my husband enough to try, right? That's cool. And the individual on chat said, I try anything. Oh, yeah, then she freaking brags, right? So much for the average. But I have to be ready because he is bigger than average. Way to go, individual on chat. Kill my ego, bigger than average. Yeah, whatever. Are you measuring right? Maybe he's not. No, I'm teasing. Okay, that I agree. They have to be ready. And guys, if you are a little larger than average, or even on average, the women have to be prepared to take you inside of them, depending, not only vaginally, but if you're into anal sex, and that's part of your sexual behavior. And how many taboos out there that you think there's no way I'm going to try it. Oh, my God, there's no way he's going to squeeze my nipples. There's no way I'm going to grab his balls. That's just no way. What would it take for you to step out and incorporate a little bit of different, what do you want to say, different activities in a sexual manner to kick those up? And I talked about, talking dirty to you and all those. Those are incorporated sexual behaviors. But part of this, and I wanted to tie in with sexual behaviors and boredom, and I'm going to sort of get into that a little bit later about the boredom aspects. So maybe my theories, and it's a theory, I'm not saying I'm right, whatever, but I want people to look at when it comes to boredom sexually. And, I want you, you can try different things and experiment. Great, fantastic. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you're looking at the average, what is the average sexual behavior in American society that, are they into missionary, doggy style, woman on top, whatever, reverse cowgirl, all this stuff. But you look at, are you trying to measure your sexual behaviors? This is the premise of this show. Are you trying to measure your sexual behaviors to porn? Are you trying to measure your sexual behaviors and boredom to porn, to other movies, to maybe you hear a buddy at work, ladies, what about you? We all know you ladies talk about sex, and you guys are very risque, very specific about sexual likes, dislikes with your friends. However, are you always trying to measure up, or are you okay just with shutting all the social media out regarding sexual behaviors and everything else, and just enjoying each other and not trying to measure up to the acrobatic porno geniuses, if you will, right? Why do you always have to keep measuring up? Why can't you measure up to each other in your sexual behaviors? Versus when you start focusing on, let's say, always having to do this, and I get this with couples a lot, and it's both, not just the woman, but also the man, where, every time we have sex, we have to do, bondage, we have to do role playing, we have to do this. Why can't we just have regular, normal sex? And the one that sort of doesn't want to think, it's boring, it's whatever, they look and they pout and all this stuff, and why not? Why can't you mix it up a little bit? What is it that centers on that you always need to role play? Get the whips, the chains. You need to get the paddle out. You need to get the handcuffs, the ties, whatever, all the way out. And it's like, holy crap, I get all this stuff out. Now I'm too tired to freaking use it. So, once in a while, it's great. But there's people out there that have a hard time looking at just normal sex. What is normal sex? But they always have to have an acrobatic adventure in looking at the situation to where, why do we always have to engage in these extracurricular gymnastic style, going for the gold medal positions or tactics or whips and chains and all this stuff that we have to do it every time? Why is that? That tells me, number one, that there is an issue, and that issue tends to be the emotional connection, right? Why are you always into, I'm all about trying different things and new things, that's fine. I'm all into it. But if it is a necessity, meaning, right, it's the only way you get aroused, it's the only way you get horny is by doing those, or you want sex. I'm going to tell you right now, you have a problem, okay? And usually that problem is lays around intimacy and emotional connection. What is the focus on the acrobatics that porn stars are always role-playing, always doing all this stuff? It can be fun once in a while, but why is it a necessity for some people that they need that to be aroused? Because what happens? There is such an emotional disconnect. If you both enjoy it once in a while, I'm not saying you don't feel emotionally connected, right? But a lot of times, the emotional disconnect comes from one partner or the other because it's always a frickin' circus act, It's like you're going to a musical before you have sex and all this stuff is mandatory to get the other one off. That's an issue. The number one issue that goes into that is the emotional connection. What's it take for one person that demands or requires or needs all that, the B&D, the S&M on a regular basis, and that's all they want to have sex? What is detracting from the emotional connection? That you don't care about the emotional connection? Or maybe it's just about physical with you, and that means your partner's not going to feel emotionally connected. They're going to start feeling like a boy toy if they're a guy, or a woman like a piece of ass, and that's it. That, you know what, if they don't do this, it puts a lot of pressure on the relationship, puts a lot of pressure on the other partner, and it more or less tells them you don't care. Ooh. I want to hear some people either on chat or give me a call. Let me know if I'm full of crap, if I'm totally out of it, right? The phone number again, 712-775-7035, and then enter 575-099, the pound sign. It'll get you right into the topic of discussion. I would love to hear from people on this topic, and I want to hear from ladies and men what you want. I'm a guy. You know what? I like a little bit. I even told people, according to S&M and all this stuff, I'm very vanilla sexually, even though I do this for a living. Little things are great, but I want the emotional connection. You can have fun and all this stuff and just a physical, and we talked about difference between making love and fucking on other shows. Sometimes you just want to fucking animalistic and just grind each other, right? And other times you want that, the closeness, the slowness, the soulfulness. I think you can have the emotional connection doing both, fucking or making love. And I talked about that. I'm not going to get into that. I talked about that on more than one or two shows previously. But you look at, why are you bored sexually, right? And if there is something, not only bored, women might get bored because they don't feel the emotional connection. Guys do too, but I hear this from guys, and I hear this mainly from women too, that they don't feel the emotional connection. When they don't feel that, or they always feel like a piece of ass, or they have to be an acrobat sexually all the time, they get bored because the emotional connection is not there, okay? Not only that, if they're not feeling it, right? They're not getting their orgasm going on. They're not getting off, and their husband, boyfriend, lovers, whatever, friends with benefits. Actually, you'll get a new friends with benefit if they're not good. If they're not getting you off, or it seems like they don't care about your pleasure, right? A lot of women, I've heard this week, I think 3 times this week, and it's only Wednesday, that they're afraid to hurt their man's ego. They don't want to hurt their feelings. They don't want to crush their ego because, let's face it, right? Guys' egos, and at the beginning of the show, talked about penis size and the penis ego of us men, but that they're afraid to crush them. So they sell themselves out, meaning women sell themselves out, and they keep just putting up with shitty sex. They keep putting up with not getting their needs met. Well, Greg, I do when I'm by myself, whatever. And I'm like, it's not the same. Yeah, I know, Greg, it's not the same. But why don't you tell them, damn it, you need to lick me this way. You need to be better at this. Most guys, me included, I am like, shit, if I'm not pleasing you, tell me, teach me your ways. Please, hit me upside the head. Hit me in the back of the head, slap my ass, whatever. Greg, do it like this. I want to learn. Most guys out there, they want to learn, okay? So don't be afraid. And if the guy's ego is crushed, you know what? That is not your issue. I get it. You have big hearts, ladies, and you don't want to hurt his ego and make it worse. However, you know what? He needs to man up and say, you know what? I'm glad you told me, man. I want to be better. And this goes back to, the sexual behaviors and tied in with the boredom and emotional connection. The emotional connection is there. You can communicate about anything, right? So don't be shy. You're also hitting on the mark, right? That, like me, I want guys and women too, you know what? If I'm not good enough for you sexually, I want you to tell me because I want to be the best you ever had. You got it? I want to frickin' make your toes curl. I want to make your eyeballs just frickin' bulge out and then roll in the back of your head, right? I want your frickin' skin standing on top of skin giving you goosebumps. I want to teach me how to do that, ladies, right? And a lot of ladies, they don't want to because the guy either should know or they're afraid that the guy's egos are too fragile and they won't be able to handle it, okay? So you look at the aspect where most guys, you need to man up. And if your ego gets shattered, true confidence, again, right, is you're willing to learn. You know, if you're not perfect, if you're not hitting it, I don't know what else to say, pleasing your woman, satisfying your woman, she's going to get bored, right? But ladies, do yourself justice and clue your man in. Not a year down the road, not 2 years down the road, not 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever down the road. Do it now. Hey, this is how I want to be pleased. I would love it if you did this, did that. Teach your man. You know what? It's going to be the best thing you can do for your sexual benefit and your sexual satisfaction. The guy will feel better about himself because he's going to get clued in for one, and you guys are going to feel safe to be able to talk about anything and about pleasing each other. And guys, I want you to tell your lady that too. It's not just for the guys with the sexual behaviors. If they're not, if you want to try something, if you're into fetishes, if you're into bondage, whatever. And again, and tell your lady, right? Now, on text, after 25 years, we have tried a lot and it's been great. But 3 weeks ago, emotional great sex left us both so shaky we couldn't even eat breakfast. It was very deep and we were connected on every level. That's what I want for couples. Now I'm fucking jealous. Gee, thanks a lot. Wait a minute. Yeah, I am jealous. Damn it. No, I'm happy for you guys. Individual on the chat room. You know what? I'm happy. That's what I want with couples. And you're right. Again, it doesn't have to always be crazy porn sex to be mind-blowing. You center on the emotional connection. Like I said, the boredom, a lot of people come in, it could be guys, women. I'm bored because I always want to do this. I always want to try this and be, like I mentioned before, a gymnast, an acrobat. I want to tie one leg around your neck and the other one around my neck. And I want us, like a freaking weeble wobble. If you remember what the hell, I don't even know if they have those toys out anymore. It's almost like you end up with two slinkies intertwined with each other and you both are freaking miserable, sore, not comfortable. Hey, but we did it this way. You know what? When there's boredom, it's not necessarily the sexual acrobatics that are missing. Typically, it is the eye-to-eye, soulful connection that you're missing. And I cannot stress that enough. And I'm all about having fun and sometimes being risque, different rooms of the house, all this stuff. Do stuff. Have sex with the lights on. Go outside at noon and have sex in your front yard in front of the... No, wait. No, I don't want you to get arrested. I'm freaking joking about that, right? If you do, don't tell anyone I told you to do that because I'm not coming out and bailing your ass out of jail. But, there's different things you can try without being a freaking acrobatic, okay? So, you look at the emotional connection. That is huge. So you hit on that. Sexual behaviors in American culture, I think we are so looking at, the different acrobats. We have to try this. We have to do this. Oh, my God, so-and-so's doing this. Oh, my God, look at this porn. We need to do this. You can try, and if you don't like it, great. But don't always focus on your sex life. Turn it into an acrobatic porn show, S&M, spank your ass, whips, chains, humiliation, all this stuff to get off, because it's gonna, if you need that all the time, there's typically gonna be an issue. Focus on the emotional connection and get rid of the damn stereotypes and the media hypes out there to sex, right? Focus on emotional connection. Yeah, try different things. I'm all about it. But if your main focus is you need that to be pleased all the time or not to be sexually bored, then there's going to be issues, right, in a relationship. And we know if there's problems in the sex life, it's going to create havoc in the relationship, mostly. If it doesn't reach havoc in a relationship, typically one or both partners are lying to themselves, right? Or they're afraid to admit that it's reaching havoc in a relationship, okay? So, not only that, look at that. I want to hear, how many of you just don't have normal sex? It can be fun. It can be titillating. Ooh, nice choice of words, right? How many women like to be titillated? But you look at, you can have fun with sex. I'm all about it. Have fun. Explore. But don't focus all the time that we have to do a new thing. We have to do it this way. We have to, oh my God, I got to put my frickin' Lone Ranger mask on and put my spurs on. And you know what? I got to make sure your nipple clamps are on and all this. My butt plugs are in. And pretty soon, oh my God, it's like, shit, I'm too tired now. And another thing we talked about, about the choking aspects. And a lot of people, that are into choking, I'm not. That's not my thing. But for those that enjoy it, it's exhilarating. It's like an energy rush. But you need to feel very safe, right? Now, do you need that like any other outside the box or sexual variation? Do you need that to get off all the time? That tells me something might be wrong in a relationship. That's the first thing I go after. So look at it. Why do I always need this to get off? Are you adrenaline junkie, or is it just to feel alive in the relationship that you always need the whips and chains to be choked or whatever? Do you need those to feel alive in the relationship, right? Do you? So, remember, penis size, the average, 5.1 inches. Hard, guys. Don't lie to the women, right? Don't measure your penis and you're measuring half inches, saying it's 8 inches. Measure true length. Doesn't matter if you're average. Don't get hung up on it. Get more hung up on pleasing your lady in your life, okay? What she loves, how she wants it, rough, slow, this angle, that angle, top, angle right, angle left, angle up, angle down, right? Inside out, all the way around. But you communicate. Be comfortable with that. And, with sexual behaviors, I'm all about spicing it up. But the number one thing is have fun, joke around, and also, number one, feel the soulful connection where you both shake, you both feel so, oh my God, connected and exhausted in a great way. And it doesn't have to be a marathon sex episode like the individual on chat mentioned. I can't agree with that more. And that's what I try to get couples and individuals to get and to understand. And I love to hear that from the chatter that they have that. And it's phenomenal. And some people, they don't realize that. Maybe they're too shy sexually. Maybe they're too insecure with themselves to be able to let go and to be emotionally close like that. And what would it take? I'm not saying if your partner's an asshole or a bitch, they might not deserve you to open up that way. Then maybe you're with the wrong partner for one, or maybe they need to not be that way and evolve into a decent person, right? And not disrespectful. And also, with sexual boredom and everything, hit on the emotional connection, number one. And you look at, what? If it's just acrobatics and if it's just about the physical presence of sex, we're going to get bored. And a lot of men, believe it or not, we want the connection too. Just like you ladies. Have fun. Explore. I'm all about that. But do not always make it about a frickin' escapade sex. Because you're going to always reach for the top and you're always going to try something new. And you're not focusing on the connection, the emotional connection between you guys, right? When that is in place, chances are the satisfaction for you both sexually will be enhanced. It'll be a lot easier, I'm laughing, to come by. A lot easier for you guys to come by. You focus on the emotional connection, but also have fun, right? I'm all about the physical pleasure of sex. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Right? But you want the emotional connection as well. If you're in the anal sex, if you're in the whatever, that's great, right? But do you need a certain style? Do you need a certain thing to get aroused all the time or you're bored? That tells me, again, not to be a broken record, you want to hit on the emotional connection. And I think once that's cemented, it's going to be very difficult for you to be bored sexually, even being, if you're an acrobat, a gymnast, right, male or female, or if you're just doing missionary eye-to-eye contact where you guys feeling each other breathe, paying attention to each other's eyes, almost like you can see each other, not only see it, but feel each other's essence and soul. Got me? Do you understand me, right? Everybody, I hope you have awesome sexual life and a sexual relationship and a one that's so emotionally connected, right? With that average 5.1 inch penis. Okay? I had a joke. Oh, wow. Just me. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. I appreciate it. Quite a few people listening. I definitely appreciate it. Oh, and I think over 4,500 followers. I was just at 4,000, a week or two ago. So this is cool. Please, I appreciate it. Tell your friends, family. Don't tell your kids. You don't want your kids listening to my language and stuff. But I appreciate it very much, and I cannot thank you enough for all your support and your kind words and making the show possible, for one thing, and allowing me into your life and hopefully help you have better, happier, healthier, more sexually fulfilling relationships, okay? Check out theartofrelationships.org, my website, also all over Facebook. And tomorrow, I am going to post a little bit more of an excerpt of my forthcoming book on Facebook. So pay attention. Again, much love to everybody out there. Thank you so much. Oh, and if you know anyone that is interested in advertising or sponsoring an episode or the Art of Relationships radio show, get a hold of me. Thank you so much, people. Everybody take care. Have a nice Wednesday evening. Much love.
Licensed relationship and sex counselor Greg Dazinskis, also known as Master G, The Art of Relationships will cover crucial elements in rebuilding emotional and physical intimacy in your romantic relationships. He will also welcome live calls from listeners and help him with these very challenges. Heard of the old repetitive and tiresome tit-for-tat arguments? Greg gets to the root of couples challenges in a quick, matter-of-fact format, plus applies compassion and humor. Join in discovering how to improve your romantic relationship and your own life. Listen, laugh, and climax to a happier you. Greg is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan, but to some of us, he is simply known as Master G.